If you've ever been accused, somebody ever said you did something, even the littlest thing that you didn't do, you know how it irritates you? Well, figure a quarter of a century being like that, a quarter of a century thinking, I didn't do this, I don't deserve this. It just eats at you like a cancer. So I was accused of killing my wife. I came home, found her dead. The police decided I was guilty before they got to the crime scene because it was easy, just blame the husband and the case is over. And at first I thought she fell and got hurt because it was dark and I hadn't seen the crime scene, hadn't realized what had happened.
They had had a generator there because they were building a property. And when Bill got home, all the lights were out, the generator had gone out. And he actually walked across the yard and tripped over his wife's dead body.
I realized it was a crime scene. What the police did was they walked around, they walked into the crime scene, which they later lied in court, said they didn't do. Smoking, dropping cigarette butts, contaminating the scene. They stood around her body. And later on, it come to find out they didn't take any fingerprints, they didn't take any DNA. They basically did absolutely nothing but take some photographs. So when it came down to trying to prove who did this, we're still in the dark.
It's one of those things, it's so hard to investigate a homicide case decades later. And when the police don't do it right on that night, that first night when the body's found, it's very hard to play catch up later on. And there were just a lot of mistakes that were made.
At the California Innocence Project, we have several different missions. Number 1, get innocent people out of prison. Number 2, provide a really good educational experience for law students who are enrolled in the clinic. And number 3, to affect policy change to help prevent wrongful convictions and to help people once they're out of prison who have been wrongfully convicted.
The leading cause of wrongful convictions is bad eyewitness identification. And for the most part, it's not a malicious situation.
Other wrongful convictions happen due to things like bad lawyering, bad science, informants, and even false confessions.
One of the really bad things about prison is it takes people out of society and then it takes them out of normal life. And that's really contrary to rehabilitation because now you put them back in that life and now it's even harder than before they went in.
We XONR8s especially have been down over 2 decades and stuff. We're an anachronism. We're out of space and time. We don't belong here. Our minds are still way back there. We have to catch up on technology. We have to catch up on everything. I drive down the street I used to live on. I don't recognize it because the trees are so big. They're just little sprouts. Now there's a canopy over top. That makes you realize how long you've been gone.
I think every citizen has a responsibility to understand about wrongful convictions and our justice system because it's our collective justice system.
I'm very jaded about the justice system. I now understand, which I didn't before, how corrupt it is. The trials are a dog and pony show. It's who can tell the biggest lie. And they're not all that way, don't get me wrong, but a lot of them are. And that's why you've got so many innocent people in prison.
I think one of the best things that people can do is to acknowledge that it's a problem and that it happens more often than we like to think. Because I think the issue that we're up against right now is people don't believe that wrongful convictions actually occur as often as they do.
If we're going to give our government the awesome power to lock people up for the rest of their lives and to execute people, then we need to be careful that we're doing it as best we can.
The judge's ruling in 2009 was that the evidence pointed unerringly to innocence. It took 7 years, a change of law, and a Supreme Court ruling to get me out after that. You have to try to fit in, you have to get ahead, you have to move forward.